Hey everyone, I'm Wes Warren. I'm here with Greg Stanley. We're from Whitehall Management. And today's topic is probably one of the hottest topics, I would say, that we get involved in consulting or consultant work. And that is, should I get involved or participate in a bidding war with other doctors with my team, and possibly your team coming to you saying, hey, I need more money, or I'm going to go somewhere else. It's becoming a problem for most dentists, and most people don't know how to handle it. Greg, obviously there's a lot going on here, and there's a lot of ways to handle this. Can you just tell me what you're seeing out there in terms of how this plays out?
Well, a term that's real popular today is triggering. The way this is triggered is you've finally gone as long as you can without replacing somebody that quit. Somebody left 6 months ago. Now you're getting applications, or you're getting into that game, and the person that comes in that you like wants more money than the people that are working for you. And this becomes an incredible sticking point. A lot of doctors are literally frozen in place. It's known that animals, especially prey animals, when they sense a threat, their first response is to freeze, to not move. I guess a lot of predators have such bad eyesight they don't see, but we see this because we're out in front of it. We're seeing it happen, and freezing in place, not moving, not changing, probably not an answer.
Yeah, Greg, I just want to point out another thing that I see that's very similar to what you're talking about, is where your pay range in your office hasn't really moved up with the times. And when you run ads, you run them in your pay range that would fit in your practice real nice, and nobody'd be upset, and you get nothing. You get no responses. We see this all the time right now, and you just conclude there's nobody out there. And the reality is that you're just behind.
Well, look at what's happening with the price of everything else, Wes. We went 10 years at Whitehall watching price of goods and services. There was so much talk about inflation, and there was no inflation to speak of. And then when it hit, it caught up 10 years worth. We're seeing that in dentistry. Staff costs were kind of stagnant, and now they're catching up. Here's the real question. You want to know whether you want to get in a bidding war. Let me answer that. If you want to be in this game, if you want to do dentistry, if you want to push forward, and I know there's downward pressures from insurance companies, I get that. But this is a dividing line. This is where some doctors are saying, I just can't deal with this. I don't think I'll be profitable. I'm paying all this money for people with almost no training, or no training in how I do things. And basically they're going to just walk away. I say we lean into this and go after it. I have a doctor that I was working with just recently, like this week, who has embraced the cost of hygiene. So many doctors just hate the thought of paying more to hygiene because they already don't like what they're having to pay for hygiene. It's known that hygiene doesn't really make a big profit. If you're lucky, if it breaks even.
Right.
To embrace hygiene, to embrace the cost of all these other things today means you get to stay in practice. And if you don't embrace it, practice is going to try to shed you. It's going to get rid of you, and you'll feel it. Because you turn around and it's been 3 months, then 6 months, till where your production's down a third or half. It's because there's nobody working for you, not enough people working for you. Embrace it and pay the money.
Greg, can you explain that phenomenon that you talk about a lot, where you lose somebody and you can kind of hold your altitude, you can hold your production numbers for 3 or 4 months, sometimes maybe even 6 months, but eventually it catches up with you. Can you explain why that happens to teams, I guess?
First of all, staff one of the reasons staff work for you, one of the reasons they show up, is for pay, for bonus, all of that. They also show up to have a job. For example, if they see a doctor do or say something that could cause the office to blow up, they'll try to stop him. They want this place to be somewhere I can come to work, get paid, maybe get a bonus. And so what happens is somebody quits or you fire somebody, they got to step up, and they're the first person, not the doctor. It's the staff are the first to say, see, we didn't even need that person. And it's typically within 2 to 3 months when the practice goes back down, and it's caused by this person leaving, it's unfixable. I mean, everybody's tired of filling in, everybody's tired of all this crossover, and you're down. I mean, you got to rebuild it. So let's make this clear if we possibly can. Yes, yes, yes again. Get in a bidding war and get the best people you can. If you can, bring in intelligent people and train them into dentistry, good for you. That'll save you $5 an hour right there. And the nice thing is, of course, that you get to train them into your culture as opposed to having to untrain them into the dental culture they came from. So yes, you're in a bidding war. Stay in this business. And we try to select topics for these kind of broadcasts. Some of the topics we'll have going forward are the adjustments you'll have to make in how you produce, how you market, how you price, how you do everything so that you can win the bidding war for staff. No, it won't be like this forever. In maybe 3 to 5 years, who knows how long, we'll be sitting around with staff that staff show up and they're almost willing to work for half or whatever. We're not there. Let's pay them up.
I think that the likelihood is that the pay is not going to go backwards. The pay is going to kind of stay where it is. It just might not go up for the next 5, 6, 7 years.
You're lucky.
That's if you're lucky. You get this flat period where everything kind of normalizes. But I will tell you, some of the things that we really work on with practices is dealing with a team that's already under the pay scale of the outside, meaning we can't hire anybody until we fix the internal pay scale. And that means literally going around and handing out raises to people. And that because you can't hire anybody. And so you first got to turn inside and actually go through a process of looking at everybody's pay, deciding who's super valuable that you want to make sure that you don't offend, that you get their pay scale rate up there. And then people that are, kind of a C+ player, they're, you move them maybe not to the top of the pay scale, but certainly a little bit lower. So let's say the pay range for a job, to give an example, is $22 to $27 an hour. And 22 would be your baseline. So your A players, you get them all the way up, $26, $27 an hour. Your C+ players, you're going to have at 22, 23, 24, kind of at the lower end. And you make sure that everybody's in that zone so that when you go higher and you find an A player, you can pay that A player that has great experience $27 an hour. And when you find somebody with marginal, you can push them down into $23, $24 an hour. You have to be able to do that, or else, Greg, you're not in business anymore.
Right. We're seeing doctors turning in some cases to concepts that are proven to destroy a practice, like trying to sell everybody a ton of widgets, soft tissue, a bunch of, some people trying to sell vitamins and Botox and all this. What you want to make sure is that the better parts of what you do in dentistry are really put forth. And for some of you hearing this, it's time to go get the training you need to keep a few things in-house. I know that Specialist sends you a gift basket every year, which has to be worth nearly $100. That's wonderful. and we're giving them $300,000, in treatment that we send to them, and we're buddies, it might be time to revisit that. See what we can learn about endo, about the things we've been giving away, because so much of that comes to you. And if staff are going to charge us all this money, we've got to be a dental practice that can afford it comfortably.
Right. Can we talk about bonus, Greg?
Sure.
How that impacts us? So we got a lot of doctors that have bonus systems. And when you lump in the bonus, they are making that $27 or $8 that I was talking about.
Yeah.
But without it, yeah, they're at the bottom of the scale, $21 or whatnot. How, and this is a big question, obviously, that doctors have. How do they handle that? What do they do? And what's your suggestions here?
I think the first thing to do is talk to your staff one at a time, how they feel about what they're getting. And a lot of them will hem and say, well, I'd like to get more. You say, what are you looking for? Because we're going to be paying people more money. And they say, well, another dollar or two. And you have to question them, say, are you sure that would make you happy? We're going to consider that. And they're going to say, yeah, that's what I want. And then it's on them. And that buys you probably a year or two with that person, and go on to the next person. And let's get through this. But we've got to be able to hire people. We got to be able to win the bidding war.
Do you turn bonus into pay and create, how do you handle that? Where somebody's got an outsized bonus system and it's kind of making
Correct.
up.
Let's take an example.
Okay.
Somebody's at 21 with a $5 bonus. Let's just use this for simplicity. Should we take them to 26 with no bonus? Yes, and reset the bonus so that we have to make a certain amount from here on. And again, like all bonuses, it has to be achievable.
Yeah.
You have to reset your standard. So dental staff are getting repriced across the board. It's not the only thing. You go out and look in the consumer sector, a lot of things are just being repriced, and some of them aren't even available anymore. So let's do that.
Yeah. So what Greg is saying is absolutely, you got to bring them up to where fair market value is for their skills, obviously, and the bonus has to be really on top of that.
Right. And you can say things, it's okay to say things like, we'll all be expecting more of you. You can say that, but the truth is that we here at Whitehall, we haven't done well at really getting more out of people by paying them more. It comes through a cause and effect bonus. That hasn't changed. That's human nature. So it's okay to raise the goalpost, but they've got to be able to get it. You can't be showing up late and underselling patients and all of that. So yeah.
So when you say raise the goalpost, meaning, hey, there's a new target. Yeah, it was 150, now it's 160.
And when you say that, you got to show them, here's how we're going to get it. A lot of people now in same day, we're not even doing this or we're not doing that. I looked at the last 2 weeks and we couldn't do same day because of whatever that was. And we're going to fix that.
Even as simple as a fee increase can make a part of that ground. I realize with insurance, you're tied with a lot of it, but a rate increase, can make up a couple, 3,000 or 4,000 of that just by itself.
The real super consumerized offices, the people have great leaders, super motivated staff, can start to trim down the insurance involvement to the degree that will certainly offset this bidding war.
That's right. That's right.
To throw all the insurance over the side, you don't just up and do that you'll lose everything.
But so you can pick off small ones, right? And get rid of real small ones and not take those discounts anymore. The large discount small plans.
There's a lot of insurance companies out there run by suits who are saying, let's pay less. That's how they're going to get a profit. Let's pay less and let's pay less, even less. Yeah. And that's, they're going to find themselves disconnected from the market as well. So
we're already starting to see that. That's another thing that you'll see is that you can talk with all your insurance companies now about getting a better reimbursement. Where before, just 2 years ago, they wouldn't even entertain it. Now I'm actually seeing doctors get an actual bump, but you gotta harass them a little bit and threaten that, hey, I'm thinking about withdrawing if I can't get some kind of increase. You'll actually stand a good shot at getting it. And if you do it with all your companies, you could probably get a third of them to give you some kind of increase that also can make up this ground on this bidding war. But this is how you got to be thinking. You got to win this. You can't just say, hey, I'm not going to. The offices that died in COVID are the ones that didn't respond, that didn't hire and didn't build back the practice. They just thought it was gonna, COVID's just gonna ruin everything, and their practices were cut in half. So you got to get serious about rebuilding and putting the team on the floor and not worrying too much about this. It's just the
Wes, I believe that staff that are really energized by a right there bonus, one they can just reach out and get with some effort, I believe they can do anything. I believe they can consumerize to the point we don't have to participate in as many insurances. They can get the production from the patients that need it. You get the staff motivated. You get them led by someone whose goal is to help them get bonus. Staff driven by bonus, leader driven by how do I get you a bonus? And together, and it's interesting because a lot of times doctors have carried us this far. Staff will carry you to what you need to be producing now to win this bidding war. Yeah. Staff will do it.
Yeah. So in short, Greg, what are you saying? They got to do it, huh?
You got to do it. Let's keep the offices staffed with great people. And yeah, Wes, don't get rid of the bonus. Make it a real bonus on top of a real raise.
Yeah, right.
Let's winnow out our non-productive insurance. Let's super consumerize so we can keep people coming back, because a lot of people in those insurances go off to somebody that takes that insurance and have a horrible experience
and come back.
It's surprising how many people come back.
Yeah.
So let's super consumerize. And I'd like to do a broadcast about what you can say to people that really connects with them. Let me give you an example, if I could, if we have just a second.
Yeah, sure.
We went to see an orthodontist once in the South, and he was priced $1,000 above other orthodontists and $2,000 above general dentists doing ortho. And he was dying. His practice was literally falling out of the sky. And so we talked to his staff. I said, what do you say to patients when they point out to you that a commodity like straight teeth is costing $1,000 more or $2,000 more here than somewhere else? And her answer was, with a twangy Southern accent, we give good service. We give really good service. And I just thought, that's the weakest response I have ever heard. That falls into the category of all-time greatest platitudes. People are so used to platitudes being hurled at them through marketing. Man, you got to put it down. We get you done in half the time. We get you done this. Maybe there's a way you can charge more. You got to give me something for it. It can't be, just you saying it's good service. So let's have that for another broadcast.
Sure.
What we can do to eject some of these weak insurances and even some of the better ones and keep the people, because we know exactly what to say. I might go a step farther. Some of these people are lost to us because they bounce off our website and maybe they can see it in black and white, that we're not in their insurance or we aren't anymore. There's an answer to all of that. And I don't want to lose a single patient. I don't know about you. So let's do that in the future.
Yeah, okay, sounds good. All right, thanks for listening.
Thank you.